Okay.
Is it okay if I shut this?
Yeah. Go ahead and shut that. Slide it. It just slides.
Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you guys seem like you're pretty busy over here.
Yeah. It's been tropics quiet, fortunately, though. So I usually spend my Labor Day off here, or holiday here, because
Okay.
we usually always have some kind of a storm.
8 and 10?
Yeah, 5. We'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7.
Okay. All right.
I'm okay here. We move over one chair. Got all this in the way, or
Well, I think it's good. It's just balancing this crap out. This
you
is
got a
like
lock.
I
Does it
said.
lock underneath? Does it lock underneath?
Okay, I see.
I think you just turn that. It locks.
Yeah, perfect.
You want me to move over one?
Let me
You go
move
out
this.
the papers. Let's do
Okay.
this.
Perfect. Oh boy. So let's just start off with you introducing yourself, your name, your position, and just some basic responsibilities that you.
So my name is Gerard Gillen. I'm the Director of Operations here at the Flood Protection Authority. As Director of Operations, it's my duty to ensure that all of our hurricane protection features are getting properly maintained and go through test operations so that when we are ready to be called upon during a hurricane or an impending storm, that all of our features are in working order and are ready to perform as designed.
Gotcha. Okay. And during crisis management or emergencies, what do you consider to be the most important attribute in your leadership position?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One, during the year, you want to have your people ready. So training and oversight to make sure that they're comfortable with operating the features.
Okay.
That's very important. The other thing is it's important that leadership has the experience from past storms and just the amount of time someone would work in a certain position would know the system, so that if there are any issues that would come up during a hurricane, you're there to also help in that situation. Okay. So I think as far as leadership, yeah, it's very important that the day-to-day and to get involved with the people to make sure that they know what they're doing, because in our agency it's very important that they perform to 100%. Things go right during a hurricane, that we're closing all of our flood control features. And again, without the experience of my knowledge on how this works, it wouldn't be a very good leadership position.
Gotcha. So when you say people, can you iterate as far as what people you're referring to?
Yes. So our personnel in the operations, I have assistants, engineers that help. I also have several pump station operators. They've all been trained in how to operate the pumping system. Also have mechanics, electricians who also provide all the daily maintenance. And I have a lot of maintenance repairers that constantly do the maintenance and know how to operate all the other complex structures that are marine related.
Gotcha. Okay. My phone locks up after a while, so I have to keep going. Were you in this position during Katrina?
No, I was the assistant chief engineer. I was the assistant chief engineer at that time.
Okay, gotcha. So have you had any other experience outside of Katrina with disasters? I know Storm Barry was just what?
Yeah, well, it's not so much disasters. They're all impending tropical storms or hurricanes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Katrina was in a category of its own, but yeah, since then we've had several tropical storms and minor hurricanes that have come close to this area that have brought winds and have allowed us to activate the EOC and actually do all the closings and perform as if there was a major hurricane. So even like you were talking about this minor hurricane Barry that was here recently, although it was a minor storm, but it allowed our people who have been trained, and a lot of new people, to actually go through a tropical storm event and perform as they've been training.
Awesome. Gotcha. Let's see. Post Katrina, were there any operational changes made in the flood management systems? For example, pumping systems, the levee operations?
Yeah, so right after Katrina, the federal government, through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, did massive levee improvements to the surrounding New Orleans area. I think it was over $14 billion spent to improve the existing hurricane flood protection. It's now referred to as the Hurricane and Storm Damage Risk Reduction System, HSDRS as we call it. And there's a lot of improvements that have been made, not only raising the levees, but also redundancy placed in the levee, which includes measures in case the levees are overtopped. They've placed reinforced high performance mat over the crowns to prevent any erosion.
Okay.
All of our flood wall and earthen levee tie-ins now have an erosion protection, because that was one of the lessons learned. We had a lot of erosion at those points.
Okay.
That eroded the earthen levee, so that's all been taken care of. And where we have flood walls that were overtopped, we actually have splash pads on the protected side that allows the overflow to not erode the backside of the levee. So even if we do have a storm that would inundate our system and we would have overtopping, there is these redundancy measures in place that protects the levees and flood walls in case they do get overtopped.
Gotcha. That was question number 4. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7.
Okay. Does management of reservoirs in the upstream watershed have any role in better flood control downstream?
So in that case, we're talking about the Mississippi River. We're also responsible for operating and maintaining the flood protection for the Mississippi River. So Mother Nature's been kind, because we're normally fighting the river annual heights of water that come down and pass through New Orleans, not during hurricane season. It's rare that we're fighting in two fronts, although this past year we did with Hurricane Barry. But for the most part, the flood fighting or the river is a feature unto itself. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers really has this system down to a science, with upstream reservoirs and spillways that they can hold back water and pass floods through various means to prevent the levees here from being overtopped. So yeah, this is very important. As you go upriver, all the local sponsors in each of those little parishes and counties, when you get up out of Louisiana, are responsible for certain segments of the Mississippi River. And again, we rely on the Corps heavily on their input as to how they're holding these waters back and what are they predicting as far as the type of water elevations that we can expect here during these flood events.
One through 6.
6 and 7. Mother Nature strike, what measures have been put into place to promote? We talked about resiliency, yes. Right. Yeah, that's it.
Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you feel would be of importance? to reiterate or
Well,
share?
I know, and they probably need to get into this, but as far as the communication, if especially their system, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has sized this system to what they call a 100-year storm,
Okay.
which means that we still have a 1 chance in every 100 years or 1% chance in every year that we could have a storm that could inundate and overtop the system built to date. Even $14.5 billion of improvements,
Right.
it still has a 1% chance of that system being overtopped. So there will be calls in the future for major storms for the people of New Orleans to evacuate, although everyone sees in the city how much the levee's been improved and how much of an agency that we're very proactive now in operating, maintaining, and recording and documenting this maintenance that we do all year round, but that the people would have to still evacuate if there was a call to evacuate.
Gotcha.
So it's very important that the people still pay attention to the local civic leaders and politicians, and that when it's in the best interest to evacuate the city or certain areas, to please do so.
Okay. Is there any website or helpful documentations that you could provide, or you would recommend the general public to go to in case of emergency for emergency preparedness purposes?
Well, I can say if anyone's really interested in the Flood Protection Authority, just go to our website. That would be the floodprotectionauthority.org. It'll show you all of our system, all the features, very unique. These pump stations and some of the big sector gates that we operate and maintain on a daily basis. If they want more information about really what we do, please go to the website.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it
Okay.
for me. Thank
All
you
right.
so much for taking the time out
Terrific.
again.
Okay.
Short, sweet, to the point. If I have any other follow